All right, guys, we're back with another episode of Talking Preps. I got the whole crew. Wait a minute, I don't have the whole crew here. We're missing Dale Rock, and we got a replacement. We got Miss Kenzie in for Dale today. How you doing, Kenzie?
Yeah,
I'm
big time.
good. I'm good.
All right, here we go. Guys, we're up live right now. I got Coach Waddell on the phone. Hope he's going to log in a second.
Something always happens with live TV.
I told him 7:55. I told him 7:55. Guys, CMS announced the football high school workouts can begin October the 12th. Sam and Grace, you guys are CMS coaches. Just your thoughts on football finally coming back. Grace, you go.
Well,
oh, shoot, I was going to let Grinder. It's been so long for him since he's got out there. I thought you saw how eager he was, Langston. He butted in with me. But, hey, we're T-minus 3 weeks away from it. Like I've been telling all my friends and family, I'm like, use a musical reference. I'm in album mode, ready to go. I think, locking in, making sure we have everything organized and ready to go. The biggest thing is just we're happy. I mean, you look at NFL, week one seemed to be pretty good, but you see week two, you started to see some of the effects of a shortened off season. Some of these guys, I mean, you're seeing the number of tears and, some of those soft tissue strains and tears and things like that had me very concerned. And I want to get our guys out there, get them back used to the rigor of our very violent sport. Hopefully, we can kind of make up and, with this additional time, it kind of creates a normal offseason to get ready for a spring football season.
What about you, Grant?
Yeah, I'm extremely excited because I haven't even met my players officially yet. I haven't been able to do anything outside of Zoom. So to have physical contact and be able to get after it, golly, I've been waiting for this for a long time. I didn't coach last year. I coached only a half a year the year before that. And it just, it's frustrating that I haven't been in football in almost close to 3 years. So yeah, I'm excited.
What have you guys been doing, coaches, on Friday nights? Just without football. Grinder, what have you been doing?
I started a new sport, pickleball. I like pickleball.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man. I try to be active. I'm not someone who likes to sit around and watch TV unless it's like college or the NFL. So Saturday and Sundays I take that rest. But during the week I try to grind like I would be if I was out there practicing, moving around and demonstrating. And so I'm playing pickleball, tennis, things of that nature. I even played golf last week.
Does it hurt though on Friday night? Because we'd be in like week 3 or 4 right now. I mean, what is it, Grace, on Friday nights for you? I'm sure you got your routine. I'm sure you want to eat at 3 o'clock and you're not doing that. What's that like, Grace?
I actually have been eating at 3 o'clock. I'm not gonna lie. Like I've taken or still find myself in that same routine. I'll usually, of course, as we know, I've been running, so I'll get a run in usually about lunchtime on Friday, and then I'll eat kind of my normal progression, like at that 3 o'clock time frame. I'll feel my body ready to lock in and kind of feel that adrenaline. I think I've said before. The big thing for me, I mean, if some football's on, I'll watch it. I'll get into some football, getting ready. And, like I always say to people, like, our season's coming. It's not like our season isn't here. So, and especially as we get closer to go time, I've got to focus on my own season. I'll go out and hopefully check some South Carolina guys. But, hey, we've got football coming too. I got to be ready for that.
To say one thing about it, too, is it's just great that we get to start practicing and working out with our guys. I don't know to what capacity yet. They haven't let us know. But think about the NFL, all the injuries that just happened. They didn't really have much of a preseason. I mean, how we talked about no preseason and stuff. Is it good or bad? Yeah. The camp wasn't very – but see, and it's all about, like, whenever you can go at it. As a pure athlete, you can go play. It's the recovery time that you have to get used to. And if you ain't been training, that's what you're seeing all these injuries coming in the second week because of the recovery period. So it's good that we get after it, in October and we don't play until February. So that's plenty of time for us to, get our feet wet.
I'm just saying, Langston, I mean, I see Gary over there nodding like he's ready to get back at it. Gary, if you're a hopeful, I mean, you can stay after for an hour. Tell your wife you got, to run a little grocery, errand or something like that. You can come out. You're certainly welcome to hang with me on the offensive side of the ball. So you just let me know if you're still around.
I know my way well around Hopewell, but that's something the wife is probably not going for.
I'm just telling you got an extracurricular activity. It's all good.
Can you get your retirement, Gary?
She says the only way I get to coach again is I'm helping my daughter out.
I mean, we got room on the football team. I mean, I'm sure she could run a good route. I mean, we throw the ball, so tell us like flag football. I mean, just gonna protect her a little more.
How old is your daughter, Gary?
She's 26. She's coaching in college.
She's got eligibility. That's it. Like,
her eligibility's gone.
Yeah, she's coaching in college.
Kenzie, since among the students, with sports coming back finally, what's the mood like?
People are excited. I mean, we haven't been in school, so the fact that normalcy is somewhat coming back it's thrilling, and I think everyone's just excited to have some sense of normalcy back for the school year.
Yeah. All right. Well, I was trying to wait for Coach to get in, but we got his quarterback in the back, so I'm going to bring him in. Zaire Kenny, the quarterback at West Meck. Zaire, sit up. There you go. How you doing, man?
You turn your mute off.
You got to turn your mute off. You got your mute off.
There you go.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, there we go.
How y'all doing?
Doing good, man.
Good.
Hey, I got you tonight with fresh faces, man. I'm excited. I watched your highlight tape. You do a pretty good job, man. You're going to be a senior this year?
Yes, sir.
All right, good stuff. Well, I'm trying to get a scrimmage with your coach. I know he was looking for one, so we'll see if
You've been hitting everybody up. Hey, y'all sound like y'all ready for it, Zaire. Zaire, I got to ask you this quick question. All right, right now, you want a scrimmage. If Coach Waddell comes to you and says, Zaire, who do you want to scrimmage? And he's here. Act like he's not here, though. So he's not here. Act like Coach Waddell's not here. If Coach Waddell says, Zaire, who do you want to scrimmage in the city right now? Who are you going to tell him?
Anybody.
No, I want to school.
I'm not very specific because I just want anybody.
Sorry. So
say this. Work, that's all.
Who would you want to beat the most, though? Like, I mean, we do have the West Charlotte coach over there. I mean, you want to show you that y'all the real kings of the West Side? What's up with that?
Ain't nothing to show within that.
Oh, yeah, I love it. I love it. So, Coach Waddell, man, I'm glad you're on here with us, man. I spoke with you, of course, right before you got the job. I was happy to hear you accepted, and are coming in the CMS, and definitely well worth it. But the first thing I got to ask, like I said, with a West Charlotte coach here, what about the rivalry, man? When are we getting that back next year, the West Charlotte West Meck rivalry? What's up?
I think that's very important. I think that's important for the boys. I think that's important for the city. So I would love to do that. I look forward to working with Coach and making some things happen on the West Side.
Good stuff.
I love it. That sounds good. I know, Grounder, you ain't running from nothing. So I look forward to that battle. Of course, it sucks. I won't be able to watch it, but I look forward to that battle for sure.
Well, I got Kennedy Tinsley texted me and said, hey, he was looking for, would you be willing to do it? I'm like, yeah, tell him, send him my number. We need a game too. If we're allowed to scrimmage, let's go. We were going to play in the regular season, and now we're not being able to. So we can see who the king of the West is. You know what I'm saying? You got West Meck or West Charlotte. We can get a little battle.
Hey, I'm all for it, Coach. We'll talk this evening. I'm all for it.
All right, good stuff. Well, I got a question for you. Since we're able to practice now starting October 12th, for our kids at West Charlotte, it's extremely exciting. Like, we can't wait. I haven't got to officially meet them yet, besides outside of Zoom and things of that nature. So I'm extremely excited. West Charlotte's extremely excited. What was the vibe like at West Meck?
When I got the job, I got it right before the pandemic hit. So, I was in a situation where I was able to get in contact with some of the boys, and the energy was good, man. I mean, the reception for me was good coming into the program. I had done a lot of work with West Meck when I was at Hunter Huss. We used to scrimmage, so I was familiar with a lot of folks on the West Side, and the boys were hungry and eager, and it's just been an exciting time. I'm excited about being at West Meck.
Good stuff. Well, I got another question for you. How was the pandemic messed with your preparation? Like, did it affect it harshly, or what did you have planned?
It did a little bit because, of course, you want to get after it. You want to see what the boys can do. But what it gave me an opportunity to do was actually make a connection with the young men, being able to get to know them outside of just what they can do athletically and building a great relationship. So I'm kind of thankful for that, because we could have hit the ground running, getting after it athletically, but I've been getting to know my boys, what they want to do, in the future, going to college, what they want to do outside of football. So we've been building really good relationships. So that's what we've been focusing on.
No, I understand that 100%, and, Coach, of course, you being new, so I'll bring in, Coach, I'll start with you and then go to Zaire. Coach, from your perspective of being at West Meck so far, can you tell us about, how you look at your team and how you feel they'll be this year? Zaire, I want you to answer that same question.
I thought you, okay, I'll go first.
Yeah, man.
Okay. Yeah, so I feel like we got a great team this year. We got a lot of pieces coming back from that was there last year, especially our wide receiver core. Our wide receiver core is very young. They was young last year, so they just got that experience, and I feel like we got some ballers on the outside. It's gonna be really great for us.
Now, Coach, can you hear me, Coach?
You might not be able to hear you. Can you hear Coach Waddell?
Well, that's fine. Zaire, I can ask you a follow-up. So how did it feel? I know, you lost Jamari Taylor. I think the backup running back may have been a senior as well. So you talked about the receiving core, but how do you feel as far as that running back core, having to bring up some youngsters and really get them acclimated? What have you been doing, during this pandemic and preparation time to get them ready?
Well, I just been working out with everybody on my own, really. So even with the running backs, the wide receivers, and even some DBs, we all been getting together and just working out on our own, getting that, connection on the side, things like that. And I feel like with a young running back, he going to get his touches, and we're just going to have to believe in him that's just as much as we believe in him as if he was a senior. So.
No, that's good. Coach Waddell, can you hear us now?
Yeah, I'm back. I'm sorry, fellas. I'm here.
No, you're good. So, Coach, we just asked, about, you being a first-year guy with the, limited time you spent with your team. Give us some thoughts about how you feel that, things should go this year and getting used to kind of our shortened season, how you feel like you do.
Like we were saying before, it's been a battle, as far as just I hadn't been able to really do much with them, to see how they move and things like that. But like I said, just being able to prepare mentally has been real key for us. And we have a good blend of kids, from just getting to meet different kids. I think we're kind of balanced across the board as far as good senior leadership. We got a senior quarterback who's been like an extension of me for the boys, communicating with the boys, working out with them. And then we got some young guys that can go. So, we got a really good balance of kids. So, it's going to be exciting.
No, that sounds great.
It seems like Zaire is a great leader. Like if he's able to, orchestrate to do the things that I think leadership is the greatest quality a quarterback needs. And so, kudos to you, brother, for being able to lead that. That's more important than throwing a football, running the football. It's your leadership qualities because you affect so many other people around you. I was personally around the greatest leader I've ever met, Brahim Murphy. He's the greatest leader I've ever seen for a team. And so, like, to see another quarterback doing what you're doing, that's all. That's awesome.
Thank you.
I have a quick question, Zaire. I want to know, how tough was it for you during the pandemic to sit at home, not knowing if you're going to play, would you play at all, looking at some of these other people playing? I'm sure you looked at television and saw some of the other states playing. How tough was that? And then what was the feeling like last week when you finally got to work? You don't know if you're playing necessarily, but at least you get into practice. Well,
yeah. So, man, it was real tough. But, I talked to the guys, and it was just like more time for us to get better. I had faith the whole time that we was going to have a season. So hopefully they let us play and they continue and stick with it. But during that time, really it was just communication with the guys that, just keep faith, keep a high head, stay positive, and just keep working, continue to work so we can be ready for the season.
That's what's up. I'm sorry, Grace. I interrupted you. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. You're fine. So, Zaire, I want to talk with you, as a QB guy, and as someone who's seen you live, who saw you at the WA camp a few weeks back, coming into this year is pretty big for you, especially last year. Can you talk about, sharing some time at the position with Jamari, now then stepping into that position as a senior with Jamari going, this is your show. So could you talk about how that is and kind of commanding the offense and getting ready for a great senior season?
So last year, as you mentioned, I was sharing a little bit of time with Jamari Taylor, and he was a great, role model for the spot also because he'd been in that system for a while. Even though he was playing running back, he was also playing quarterback then too. And, he knew the system. He knew the system more than I did. So it was a better situation in the long run for me to know. know that system. But now that Mata is gone and out the situation, even with Jamari gone, it's just me and learning the whole new system again. And I feel like, it's been tough, but I feel like I'll get through it. It ain't nothing to really complain about.
Yeah. Well, Coach, appreciate you coming on, Coach Waddell. Zaire, appreciate you coming on. We're gonna make sure the guys come out and see you guys in February. Sam won't be out there because he'll be coaching. But we'll get the other guys out there over some West Meck games. We gotta make sure we get that West Meck West Charlotte rivalry popping like it used to.
Definitely.
Yes, sir.
Sam's number is 704. No, I'm not gonna do it to you.
I'll text you my
Hey,
info.
but y'all good luck to you guys. Thanks for coming on, man.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
then. Thank you. All right.
Sam, you're gonna have more scrimmages than you have games.
I know,
That's what
right?
I'm saying. Yeah. Nah, but that's one thing. Yo, Coach Waddell's been reaching out. I got a text. Like, he's really been reaching out, trying to get out there to people. So I commend him.
I dropped the ball here, fellas, because I'm supposed to have a new segment theme music ready, and I don't have it. But we got a new segment. I know. We got a new segment called Prep. Where you guys
Beatbox.
and we're
Yeah,
gonna,
like whoosh. We're
gonna keep the records and come up with a total. I'll let Dale pick two so we can have his total. But the first game we're gonna pick is Covenant Day at Hickory Grove, and we'll let Chris go first. Who you got, Chris?
I don't know a lot about Covenant Day, and I know Hickory Grove's got a new coach, but it's hard for me to go against Hickory Grove just for the fact that Tad Balcom's there. Great coach, got a lot of respect for him and his ability, and I think that he might be enough to put him over the edge.
All right, Gary, you beside Chris?
I think I would go with Hickory Grove too, just because of my knowledge of Tad Balcom.
Heck of a Coach Sam Howell in high school. Kenzie.
I'm going to go with the unpopular opinion of Covenant Day. New coach, not a whole lot of time to implement a system. These aren't NFL guys, they're high school boys, so it's going to be a lot harder to implement a new system in a shorter amount of time, and I think that needs to be taken into consideration.
Coach Grace.
Covenant Day won this game 55-0 last year. Point blank, going with Covenant Day.
Griner.
Yeah, Covenant. I love Tad Balcom, but it's just he needs a little bit of time to orchestrate his system, and he's a great program guy, so he'll do a phenomenal job down the road, just building great men. But Covenant Day is going to win this game.
Covenant Day. All right, next game up, Indian Land at York. Chris.
I had a chance to see Indian Land live and in living color Friday night, and they looked pretty scrappy, really good, well-coached. You're talking about Charlotte South now with Rocky White and Nick Mata and Coach Hastings. They're physical, but I think York is big boy football, so I'm going to go with York.
Ooh, Gary.
York.
Kenzie.
York.
Grice.
Hey, man, we got the Charlotte Dream Team there. If you ask me who I want to coach a son if I had one, Rocky White, Adam Hastings, Nick Mata, all on that list. Now, it was a 20-point game last year, but I got to believe the coaching and the way you guys talked about how well Indian Land looked, and York struggled a lot last year. Indian Land's going to get this one this week.
I don't want to steal the thunder from the next segment, but you saw this team up close in person, Sam. Who you got?
Yeah, I think the passion that Indian Land's playing with is going to be very evident as the course of the season, moves forward. I just think that York didn't have a great season last year, but they still even beat Indian Land last year. And I think that they had a new coach last year. Now his system's, been implemented. So I think that I was born and raised a little bit of time in York. I was born in Charlotte. Then my dad had a dentist office in York. So I'm kind of rooting for the York Cougars, because it's the players that play in the game, even though the coaches, we love those guys at Indian Land.
Who you picking, then?
I'm going with York, man.
York. Okay. Next game. Chris, we had a lot of discussion about this game early in the season. We got Catawba Ridge. We got a great freshman quarterback playing South Pointe. Who you got?
I got pain, and a lot of pain. I think South Pointe's going to win this game going away by a lot.
Why?
Well, you've got talent over there. You got a great – you talk about quarterback for
No, I'm talking about all the talking that was going on.
Oh, I'm not worried about the talk. I know Nabanye Moore coming down, quarterback from Statesville to that South Pointe team. I think that they're really good, athletic, and I think they got a chip on their shoulder. That's enough fuel for me. I think it's going to be an ugly game.
Gary.
Oh, it's going to get ugly. I think South Pointe, teams that do a lot of talking are really doing so to disguise fear. And it's going to be South Pointe.
Kenzie.
South Pointe, because they're just a historically good team, and historically good teams normally win football games.
Man, I love those Ohio State-looking uniforms they wear. What you got, Grace?
Yeah, South Pointe's going to win this game. I mean, I love, Chris brings up the name I'll never forget after that, our segment last week, Nabanye Moore, former Greyhound. I think he's going to take care of it. You look at that team, they're normally a QB-driven team. I think that continues, a couple new additions. Phil Mickles came from Lancaster, is there as a receiver, is going to provide a down-the-field threat. Catawba Reds, I think, will hang tough early. They played Weddington last year, so they played tough teams. Linebacker, now rising junior, Will Lohman had over 100 tackles last year. He's a tough guy. Former kid I coach. I got to shout him out. But, I think it's South Pointe's going to handle, and so they're over. They're a bigger problem to have than what Catawba Reds can handle. So it's going to be big. 21 points.
All I need is a pick, Sam. All I need is a pick. Just one pick.
I'm going to give my explanation on why.
Give me an explanation. Don't listen to me. Give me an explanation.
This ain't.
Go ahead, Sam. There you go.
Listen,
you got the one shot.
There you go.
Different level, man. That's a state championship type team. They're amazing. And you got Donald Littlejohn coaching the quarterback, so I think that they're going to do a really good job. Now, Catawba Ridge, they play with a lot of pride. I saw them in the scrimmage as well. It's a different level of talent across the border. Just Rock Hill area, they got them all at South Pointe. They got all the talent.
All right, the game we're trying to get off of so everybody can go see it. Let's get a pick on this one, Chris. New Orleans or Las Vegas?
I've got to go New Orleans.
Gary.
New Orleans. John Gruden is overrated. Knock on wood.
Kenzie.
New Orleans.
Grace.
Oh, when the Saints go marching in.
All right. Coach Griner, just a pick. Just a pick.
Oh, crap. They're going – the Raider Nation, John Gruden, they're going to shock the world in the new stadium for what they're doing, in their new place, Las Vegas. Is going down, Gary. And John, how you going to disrespect John Gruden? Kiss the ring. Tell him to kiss the ring. They're going overrated. Come on. Raiders, baby.
Raiders, baby. All right. Well, Chris asked for some company in Chris's corner this week, so I'm going to get out of the way and let you guys have it.
All right, guys. And I got my man Sam right here with me, brother. We had a great time for some real football Friday night last week. It was your and my first opportunity to be on the field. Some fans in the stands, some football, some passion, and I thought we had a great time. And I want to kind of recap that, and I kind of want to get your take on it as well, Sam.
Yeah, just to see kids competing. It was so fun to watch, and to see new coaches be energetic. It's just like we need this in our lives. We need to release those endorphins. We need that passion in our lives, and there's nothing better than fall football. And just seeing that, I mean, we got 3 games in, and they were all very competitive and fun to watch. It really were.
It really was. And, it was kind of a last-minute deal for us to go down there. But, they really rolled out the red carpet for us, the athletic staff and everybody in Nation Ford High School. Coach David Johnson, who's the offensive coordinator, used to be the head coach at both Hopewell and at Cuthbertson, really treated us very well, which I'd expect nothing less. But I think that the shocking thing, maybe not the shocking thing, maybe we knew it, but we didn't think we knew it. It was almost Charlotte South. The number of Charlotte and Charlotte area coaches down there. Rob McNeely up at Fort Mill, who used to be at Lake Norman, and
great coach too.
Golly, the entire staff just about at Indian Land is a Charlotte staff, and just. All Nation Ford was pretty thick with Charlotte and some Kannapolis guys as well. I just thought it felt like home. It really did.
Yeah, it was cool to see Rob McNeely arguing on the sidelines because he's a defensive guy. But when the offensive line missed a block or they could have devastated someone on a pull block, and they didn't take it, like he was ripping them. They got like a 20-yard gain on one, but the guy didn't like destroy him on the block, and he was all up them. That defensive mentality, head football coach, and Rob, I love it. I think he's going to do a great job this year.
I think so too. And I'm glad we kind of through South Pointe. We kind of threw them the win by default going against this Catawba Ridge team. But I think you and I both came away from Catawba Ridge's game. They're a second-year program, and they still got a lot of underclassmen. I'm not sure how many seniors, if any, they've got on that program. But I think that we both agree that give them a year, give them 2 years. I think that's going to be an exceptional football team. They're going to take some growing pains still this year. But I think they're closer than maybe a lot of people would tend to give them credit for being.
Yeah, definitely the most pride in both games were Catawba Ridge showed unbelievable pride as well. But also I think that they play later in the year. Doesn't Indian Land play them as well? Yeah, so I would love to see who wins that matchup, to be honest with you.
And Indian Land looked exceptional. You could just see that they were really getting after it. You could kind of feel the momentum that they had going with Coach Hastings and all. But the other team that I really liked, and I wish I knew those two quarterbacks' name, was Fort Mill. You had the starting quarterback wearing number 32, and then you had number 33 just moved down from Chicago. Those two guys right there were fearless in the pocket. They made every read and didn't mind sticking their nose in there.
Yeah, and don't forget about in the later game, what's the one guy that surprised you the most? I'm thinking of one guy. I don't know if you're thinking the same as me. In the last game, Indian Land's freshman running back. Remember,
the freshman running back. You're right. Made that big 76-yard touchdown. The only score for Indian Land. Incredible run. And not to mention for Indian Land, but they had two defensive backs who made crucial interceptions. And we're talking about incredible effort interceptions, a one-handed grab and going up and making the play in the end zone to seal the victory. And I know it's a jamboree, but still, you play to win, and the defense really did it.
And they needed to win. I think
we love that turnover chain too.
Yeah.
But guys, that's all. I know we're just kind of recapping a scrimmage, but again, to kind of put a bow around Chris's corner tonight, it was just about being there. It just felt right. And, in a season where I feel like my compass has not been in the right direction, it felt right finally being at home. But Kenzie, we've got you here. I'm excited to see what you've got to talk about tonight, and let's go ahead and have it.
All right, Kenzie time. Kenzie, I'm excited to have you for big parts of the show tonight. This is your time now. Boy, you're going to be with us throughout the whole night. I know. I love it. I'm so excited.
Thank you.
You ready for it?
I'm ready.
All right, so check it out. I want to know your opinion about CMS football coming back.
I think it's great. We've seen other people do it successfully all around the country. CMS is normally the last to the party, too. I can say that as a student. We're normally the last thing to, get updates and get things. So it's great that they're moving the ball forward in North Carolina, and I think it's great to see a big district doing that. And I think everyone's just excited to get the ball moving on sports.
Got you. Well, you had a video this week. Who did you interview?
Got Blue Monroe of J.M. Robertson. Smart kid, can learn a lot of different systems really fast. And
you like those Cabarrus County people. You get some Cabarrus County athletes, don't you?
Yeah, they like to respond.
That's good. That's real good. Let's drop the.
Today we're here with Blue Monroe of J.M. Robertson. Blue, over this COVID time period, you've been doing a lot of work with Kevin Olson. How has that improved your game?
Well, Kevin, he's a great trainer. Just, developing my arm, helping me get stronger, helping me build accuracy through it. Just the little stuff, just the little technique, working on footwork, working pocket movements. So I think that's really going to help my game this year.
That's awesome. As everybody knows, junior year is the most stressful time in high school. You're going into junior year. It's during a pandemic. Things aren't necessarily going as expected with football. How would you say that's affected you overall?
Honestly, I wouldn't say it's affected me too much. It just gave me more time to prepare for the season. So you got to take a negative and turn it into a positive. So I look at it, it's just more time to get time with my receivers, more time to get on the field and everything like that.
Blue, anybody who follows football recruiting knows how important and crucial junior year is, and how much that film can impact whether you're going to get an offer or whether you don't get an offer. How has it been trying to get film ready for these colleges and just trying to make it work?
Just taking it day by day, just keep working, just keep grinding, keep throwing, just treating it like another year, but making sure I'm putting more work in than I ever have to get ready for this season. And I think we're going to have a great season this year.
Blue, I have one final question for you. We've seen a lot of states reverse decisions to play in the spring, and they're moving it back up to the fall. If someone told you right now that, you'd be able to play football in the fall, how would you feel?
I'd be extremely excited. I miss the game of football. I miss being on the field with my guys in the pads and playing against opponents, obviously. So I'll just be extremely excited.
Wow, Kenzie, you're getting so good. I mean, you like getting so comfortable and so smooth. It just, it's like effortless.
I'm gonna test it though right here. How do you spell blue? Is it like blue cheese or like the
It's
color
like the
blue?
color blue. BLUE.
We had his mom on the show a couple weeks ago. Eh?
The Moreau family's getting up there with the May family. You got Storm at Davidson right now. Hey, that kid looks like he's another D1 guy. They're starting putting the Moreau names.
Right.
Football player too.
Grace, you know what time it is.
Oh yeah, best segment in town. Let's go. You got it.
Am I going to mess it up? Or am I going to get it right?
You will get it right.
That theme music though. Let's drop that theme
music.
music.
You got it.
I gotta get ready. Okay, here we go. Oh boy, look at that. Look at me.
Woo!
Kenzie, tell us about Ryan McGee of Metropolitan Christian.
Guy's got an arm. He can sling the rock, and he does it with great footwork. You see no heel click, nothing like that. He's going to deliver the ball cleanly. He's going to make great plays. He's got great eyesight down the field. He's a fun guy to watch.
You guys heard that heel play comment. You like that, right?
Oh, she's getting there. I told you she's getting close to that Collinsworth. Here's a guy.
Yeah. He's throwing dimes out here, fellas.
I ain't gonna lie, those guys after the catch, though, they look like they're like not moving very, very fast.
There you go. Stop
all that matters.
Hey. Football. That's what private school football teams give y'all a fit, Sam. Trust me.
Oh, no, I know they will. I'm just saying, like, run after catch is not like an attribute.
That has nothing to do with the quarterback.
He's put dimes in there. He doesn't need it.
This is smaller school private school football, but some of the big Charlotte schools are really, really good. All right, here we got David Hines, Southern Alamance. Chris, you saw this guy in person.
Well, I've seen this young guy when he was about 5 years old slinging footballs around the field at Douglas Byrd when I was coaching there. I know his father, David Hines. This young man is a prototypical son of a coach. He gets out there. You can see him right there. He is a big guy, 6'4", 6'5". Since the quarantine, he has put on about 25 pounds. He's up to 218 right now. His vertical has improved from 28 to 33 inches. His power clean has improved from 265 to 315. He's a guy that once play ended, he put in the work. Again, typical son of a quarterback, big, huge arm. He is a D1 guy, Power 5 guy, if you ask me. I feel like some schools like NC State, ECU, Duke have probably missed the boat on him. He's a guy that I think that has been hurt by the COVID and not playing more than anybody else because he was one of those guys that I expected to get 8 to 10 offers over the summertime camp series. That obviously did not happen. Huge arm, field general. When he speaks, the players listen. He's kind of a sneaky fast guy. He can run, but you can see right there, he has the big arm. Voted all conference in the area for this upcoming season in a county that's really good for football.
All right, Grace. A guy you know, Albert Flemming of Olympic.
I coached the youth ball. Funny story here. Olympics first game against Myers Park, he actually had to play quarterback. You can see he's a shifty guy. Imagine this is all that run after the catch. Tough kid, runs harder than that 6'1", 170 frame. Again, later on in the season, he was able to play receiver. We do know about, 2,000-yard back they have. So Olympic isn't primarily a growing team, but when they get their opportunities, this is the guy they want to go to in the red zone. Had some great plays here, as you can see. They played, a lot of guys in the conference. He's a great returner, as you can see. It's not a guy you really want to kick it to. Takes the ball, knows how to follow his blocks and go down the field for a big play.
Sam,
we played him in JV return one.
Sam, they're moving pretty good in this clip. They're not moving slow.
Yeah, this is different speed here.
Yeah, he's a fast kid.
Isaiah Mobley's up next.
Yeah, he's a wide out at Parkland. All the fundamentals you want in a wide receiver, the X receiver. Great routes, catches the ball with his hands. Great run after catch, and a good blocker. You see him making somebody miss right there.
Yeah, the highlights look good. I love kids who post their highlights to Huddle, by the way. Next week, we're going to start picking players of the week. So everybody make sure you post to Huddle, send us your nominations, because we're going to talk players of the week and fresh faces. So we're going to have a whole lot of video breakdown. I like
that grab.
Yeah, I love to see these nice clear highlights like this, so we can really highlight these kids. But Gary,
also videographers too. There was some great film here.
Yeah, absolutely. We didn't have this back when I was in high school.
Oh, he has made 3 guys.
He had 16 millimeters when I was in high school.
They had 3 striped socks when I was in high school.
Hey, don't hate on the stripes.
I'm glad I get to talk about a hog molly. Oh, yeah, get to talk about a hog molly. More and more I see these guys. I see why Joe Evans took this job. Right tackle here. I think he's 6'8", 305. Smart kid, dominating run blocker. I mean, here you see him on the pass set, just completely destroy his guy. One thing I like about him is that he's a great finisher. Every time he usually finishing a play, it's a guy on the ground here. I mean, he's just a guy, great at driving his guy. You can tell he's a little raw. I mean, it's tough at that big 6'8", 305 frame, get those feet moving. A couple years or so in the Joe Evans factory in the offseason, I definitely fixed that. I think he's a guy that has a high ceiling. If he can get those feet right, work hard in the weight room, continue to show great footwork in the pass game and the run blocking game, he's a guy I think you could see at an FCS level. Look at him getting out on the screen right here. Not just a guy that can stay in the box, a guy that's going to get his hands on a smaller guy. And if he gets his hands on you, it's night-night.
All right. We're going to wind it up. Sam, tell us about Zaire Kenzie, the quarterback we had on a few minutes ago.
Zaire, he was on our show earlier, but you're talking about a good leader. Obviously, when he's saying that he's getting able to work with his wide receivers in the offseason right now when coaches are not allowed to. But the guy throws a great deep ball.
That's the playoffs.
Get air underneath it. I mean, he's got a big arm. The mobility, I think he's needed to work on in the offseason. Hopefully he's worked on that so he can be able to run and scramble if he needs to and create space for himself. But he makes good decisions. Like, he throws the ball well down the field. Like that right there, that's a good throwing ball. I mean, hit him perfectly in stride. I mean, it's hard to do it at the high school level. And he just looks like he's got a big back, like big frame, and his back foot sticks in the pocket really, really good. So I think that his base is probably one of his better attributes as well. Like, he's very sturdy and balanced.
Man, look at how good that film is. Man,
yeah,
I'm blown away by the film. The film.
Those kids are running pretty fast too.
I think that was the third Brown brother, isn't it? I think that's the third one.
They got unbelievable amounts of speed in that bloodline.
I was so glad to get them off the schedule by the time, he can go ahead and graduate. We'll deal with him later. I'll watch him on TV.
All right. Kenzie, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Uh-oh. Big time.
Because Grace calls this the doom and gloom segment.
I'm neither.
Yeah.
But we're not gonna have doom and gloom. It's gonna be you and Gary, and I'm gonna get out of here, and you guys are gonna have a really fun 2-minute warning. No gloom and doom.
Well, Kenzie, you see, I'm repping my Cowboys paraphernalia, and yesterday we stole a game from the Atlanta Falcons. I thought we would be better this year, but looks like we got a fat version of Jason Garrett. But anyway, Atlanta is the first team in NFL history to score 39 points, have no turnovers, and lose a football game. What is the greatest comeback you've seen in your life?
So I'm originally from Arkansas, but growing up, I had a cousin who's quite a bit older than me, played on the high school football team at the high school I was going to go to, which is Harbor High School. It was a high scoring game against Bentonville to go to the playoff game or to go to the playoffs. And he took back, did a kick six, just like Auburn did, kickoff return in high school to win the game, went on to win the state championship that year. Kid changed the history of the school. Best comeback I've ever seen.
That's awesome. They asked me earlier, if I'm not gloom, I must be Father Time. But the first year I coached football, high school football here in Charlotte, I was at Independence, and we were playing West Charlotte for first place. The team who won the game likely was going to be the conference champions. And we had a wide receiver named Roger Pettis, who unfortunately lost his father that week. And the funeral or wake, I can't remember which one, was the night of the big game. And Roger was insistent that he was going to play. And Coach Jester, who was the head coach at Independence at the time, told him, no, you need to be with family. And Roger took his uniform with him to the ceremony for his father. He arrived at the stadium at halftime and went on to have one interception and 3 touchdowns. And we won the game after being down at the half. So I thought that was the greatest high school comeback that I've been a participant in as far as football is concerned. I've had a lot in basketball, but I thought that was unique that a kid would arrive at halftime and have an impact on the game that would eventually lead Independence to a conference championship.
Yeah, that is truly incredible. Now, Gary, CMS plans to return to athletic workouts. They already got 2 going. But transportation, should buses take them to practices, or are they going to have to figure that out for themselves?
I think they should do it like they do in summer school, in that they should have pickup points, because most schools are located in neighborhoods. Most neighborhoods have at least an elementary school, if not a middle school, and they should have pickup points for kids who don't have transportation. As long as the kid gets to the pickup point, they pick those kids up, make sure they get to their school for practice. Now, CMS did away with activity buses after practice, probably after Hurricane Katrina. So, athletes have been on their own as far as how they get home, but at least parents won't have to get off work if CMS provides transportation for kids at least to get to practice. Maybe parents still should be responsible for picking their kids up after practice, but I think they at least should make sure that they have a way to get to school, because during the regular year, they would just, leave their last period class and go to practice. What do you think?
I have to agree. I think getting kids to practice is crucial during this time for just mental health wise. We've seen suicide rates rise, so we know those sports are going to help with the mental health, and it's going to play a huge impact on that statistic going down. And we know a lot of low-income schools are at a higher risk for that statistic as well. So those are the schools that really need to be focusing on transportation to help, not with just the athletic part, but that truly the mental health part.
Now, when the season starts, if CMS is still in remote learning, which it may be, I know the elementary schools are supposed to go back first, and then they gradually add higher grades. But should the high schools still be in remote learning, should CMS allow sports activities, in fact, games?
I think so. I know in Kansas City, if they're in remote learning right now, but they plan to start games, and if an athlete is playing, they have to stay in remote learning. And that could definitely serve as an advantage for CMS in remote learning to contain the virus if it does spread. Just keep it at home, which I know is like a cause of concern with like grandparents and whatever. But I think you can contain the virus. They aren't bringing it to school. They aren't spreading it. And it's online learning. We got it all good.
Well, I hadn't thought of it that way. It's almost like its own bubble, so to speak, because the athletes are only around each other as opposed to being in a building around teachers and other students who are non-athletes. I think that is a great idea, the way you put it, because now these athletes, of course, we don't know what they're exposed to at home, but at least we know who they are exposed to in their athletic activity. That's an awesome answer.
Thank you.
I better watch out. Kenzie might take my spot. Because Kenzie, if we don't watch out, they'll pick the wrong day.
Send in a wild thing. Look at it. No more gloom and doom. Like it was like
just gloom and heat because Kenzie's bringing that fire. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, Gary was happier too, I think.
Oh yeah, Gary was happy. I do think because Kenzie's lighting it up.
I'm exhausted on the COVID. I'm exhausted.
I think we all are. But we're not just we love you, Gary, but we're just not here for fun. You know what time it is, Gary.
You do it. Drop it, Coach.
All right, men, coach versus coach. Hey, by the way, does Kenzie have it or what? She's going to put us all to shame. That young lady stepped up her game tonight.
No, definitely. I like you in the middle again. I don't know what happened last week. It was so weird with you on the right.
I like being in the middle because I got my two friends right here, one on one side, one on the other, and that way I can kind of direct traffic and keep you two from fighting.
Yep, that's about right.
All right, man. Well, hey, let's go ahead and crank up that first question. Bigger loss, McCaffrey or Barkley? Grice, since you're on my left, I'm going to let you go first on this one.
All right. Well, Saquon, man, that guy is the everything for the Giants. I love McCaffrey, of course, hometown team, star for them. But, McCaffrey's only going to be going for a little bit. Saquon is going to be going again for a long stretch. He missed 3 games last year, had issues with the knee, and again, he's torn an ACL. You look at that team and with the Giants, and people are talking junk about Teddy Bridgewater, but you have a young quarterback in Daniel Jones that needs a guy like a Saquon Barkley to get the ball to. Doesn't have any receivers that can really threaten down the field. You saw Slayton last week had a 2-touchdown game and trying to emerge. Well, now they're going to need him to be the guy when you lose such a big ticket star like Saquon.
Yeah, Barkley's a huge loss just for the aspect. The question doesn't say which one was the worst injury. It says what was the bigger loss. So obviously it's McCaffrey because they use McCaffrey over 93% of the field snaps on offense. Like he's literally out there almost every play. I think he's used more like LeBron is in the NBA. He gets 25% of the targets in the passing game. Like he has over 50% of their yards from scrimmage. Like what are they going to do without McCaffrey? I know Saquon's up there pretty good, but it's not McCaffrey status. McCaffrey's almost won the MVP last year, and that's a huge loss, even though it's only probably for 4 to 6 weeks and not the whole year. But the one thing that's beneficial is that the next question, I'm ready for that, but the next question is going to help me with the CMC through.
We're on this question. Stay on this question.
It will. But just to kind of give my 2 cents in this, I think that in terms of the bigger loss, I do think McCaffrey means more to the Carolina team, and it will be felt more throughout the course of the team, kind of as you mentioned, Sam. So I think that's just kind of how I feel on it. But that is going to bleed very well into this next question. And as soon as we pull up the graphic, should the Panthers try to tank for Trevor Lawrence? Sam, you was trying to go ahead and talk about it. Let's get your 2 cents on this.
Yeah, I've been saying this before the season even started. We're tanking this year. We get Trevor Lawrence, franchise quarterback. I think that he's a world-class talent. We haven't seen someone come out of college since Andrew Luck that's so, anticipated like Trevor Lawrence. He's a big, got the Tarzan body, can move, got a huge arm, and he's very, very good with, being a leader of his team. So I think it's a game changer. Like Giants already, supposedly got their quarterback for the long term. They made sure they went after him earlier in the draft, and when they thought you could have got him a little bit later in the draft. So they got their guy, and they got Saquon Barkley. But Panthers lost a lot of big pieces in their team, like Luke Kuechly. I mean, no one thought he was going to retire, but I mean, it's time for them to turn the corner and get a whole new system going in, maybe with Trevor Lawrence.
I mean, you really compared Trevor Lawrence to Andrew Luck, a guy that's not even in the league anymore. I mean, that's awful. No, the Panthers shouldn't tank. I don't care. Like, Trevor Lawrence is great. Now, I've said this before. I thought he was one of the best high school prospects to come out into college, and I'd seen Tim Tebow, and I think he's holding that up to par. But again, we can't serve filet mignons on paper plates. We need offensive linemen. We need a defense, a competent defense that can stop anything. If I told you that you could have a quarterback that could have 72.4% completion percentage, a guy that's averaging 318 yards per game, the highest in his career, and would you take him? And a guy that is a scheme fit for your offensive coordinator, you take him every single day. And that's Teddy Bridgewater. But the problem is he's never had this many sacks, this close into the season. He doesn't have an offensive line that can take care of him. He understands the OC that he has is a very similar system. Joe Brady worked with Sean Payton, and the system they have is a fit for Teddy Bridgewater. But if we don't give him the right circumstances, if we don't give him the confident line, if we don't give him a defense that can't stop anyone, I mean, we're seeing all these issues, and that's going to put more and more pressure on him. You give even a guy with a talent like Trevor Lawrence, if you don't support him and provide all the things around him for him to be successful, we're going to see the same thing happen again that we saw to Cam Newton. Oh, how did he do last night? Thought he looked pretty well. I don't want to see that same situation with a Trevor Lawrence where he's not happy in a situation here where he's struggling when we could actually set him up to be successful.
Very good take, Bryce. And if you seriously say filet mignon on paper plates, that might be the quote of the night. And it's my opinion right now. Trevor Lawrence may be the next best thing ever, but he also may be, I don't know, Ryan Leaf. You just don't know. And the way the NFL has changed and the way the quarterback game has changed, I want that quarterback who can get outside the pocket, who can move around, who can extend the play, who can run and still have his eyes downfield. And, Trevor Lawrence may be that. He's done an exceptional job in the collegiate game, but the NFL ain't the college game. And, until I see it, you just don't know. I think I would want to keep winning. I'm not the biggest Teddy Bridgewater fan, but I don't think he's bad either. And I think give him a chance. I like how you mentioned the line, Coach Grice. The offensive line is what moves football. Until you block up front, I don't care if you got John Elway back there. It ain't going to happen.
I'm not going to disagree with that. He made a good point about that aspect about the offensive line. That definitely is true. But I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be the next best quarterback that we see in the future. I think he'll have a 20-year career. I think he's that big. He's that durable. Yeah. I just think he's going to be special.
He might be.
I love him, but yeah.
All right, okay, Coach. Coach versus Coach. Let's do the next agree, disagree with the last play of the Patriots-Seahawks game yesterday. Coach Grice, this is you.
Oh, this is going to be fun. I love this. Hey, you're on the, 1.5, 2 yard line. QB power. That's what you do. You have a quarterback that's 260 pounds. You have actually, if you look at the still shot of the picture, which I posted on my Twitter account, they had the numbers advantage to their strong side. The defense just made a better play. I love talking about this with football guys, but I hate with the random fans that say it's too predictable, it's this and that. If I'm on the 2 yard line, I'm going to run the dang ball, and I'm going to trust my guys who have been winning all game to do the same thing. I don't care if it's predictable. Sam, you know what that is. Sam, when you've got a guy, you've had a guy. I'm going to mention your championship this week. When you had that guy, you knew that people knew what you were about to do, right? You knew that. Did it matter to you? Hell no, it didn't. You kept on doing the exact same thing because you trusted your guys to stop. You trusted your guys to execute and the defense not to stop it. This is week 2. This is a shortened off season. This is what they had right now. In week 16, week 17, something different will definitely be called by McDaniels.
Well, I think that you're a little off here. I think that Cam Newton, the play call for him throughout the whole, if it was first down, great call. There's plenty of time left. But here's the situation. Like you said, I had a dude in Kavaris Crouch, right? But some of our biggest plays that we ever had was when we used him in the illusion. We used him as a decoy. I guarantee the Seahawks, there's something about other NFL players. They're like, that dude is not doing the X, I'm Superman now, like on my stadium anymore. And so they said, if anybody's going to score, it ain't going to be him. And they all were keyed in on him. So what you can do is that old Tim Tebow jump pass. Do that exact same play and have one guy leaking out, because here's the thing. that linebacker that they were trying to reach up there or that corner that came off the edge is what set the edge. But the issue is if you have that coming in, you have someone leaking out, they can't set the edge like that. So I think you could have a two-way combination. Like he could have ran it in, but he also had the option to jump past it. And I think that would have been, because I was afraid. I was like, if they run it, they're not going to get it. They're going to get stuffed because it's not a quarterback sneak. It's not a quarterback sneak. Sometimes it's harder to get that 1 yard when you're that far back, in my opinion. Sometimes you get bigger chunks of yardage, though, being further back when, obviously we saw earlier in the game.
If you look back at history, Bill Belichick is the master of putting the tackle eligible as an eligible receiver. Sometimes you think that he might mix some trickery in with that, but I have to go with Grice. When you've got an athlete that's as big and as tall as Cam Newton, I think you just put your big on big and you put your best athlete on the best athlete and get what you can get. And I'm willing to lose that way if I know that my best athlete had his hands on the ball.
It's week 2. Like if this was week 17, sure, you come up with a trigger. It's week 2. They had 3 defined plays as we saw. And Sam, they did call your play, but yeah, I just think, hey, you go with good on good in week 2. That's only take that the guys will get the playoffs. They'll make it happen.
They ran that play 3 times in the game, though. That's the thing. Like they went to even Cam Newton said we might have went to the well a little too much there. He even
Why
said
is the pass guy talking run and the run guy talking pass? I don't know what's happening here, but talking
what's going on. We got COVID.
I've been looking at run stuff. Lord, I've been looking at some Buck Sweep type stuff. What is happening?
Don't do that. Don't you start implementing that into your system. That'll piss me off. Because
just watch. I'll give you credit. I'll yell Griner as we score on one. I got you.
All right, guys. This is our last question of the night. It's about time to kick off some dun 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 dun. Okay. With all the kids leaving early, is Richmond County now the best team in 4AA? Coach Griner, let's go with you.
Yeah, this is the team I think that they didn't lose hardly anybody. I don't think they lost anybody, to be honest with you. And I think that their head football coach, you see the passion that he has, they found ways to lift weights. I think they got better in this offseason during COVID. They're one of the only teams that got better. Everybody else, I think, dropped off just a smidgen, even though there's great teams in CMS that can compete for it. I just think that Richmond County is the team to beat. They are the real deal. They're physical. They got offensive line. They got defensive line. They got people that can cover. I think they got speed in the right places. And they got that dude closest to the best player in the NFL right now, Russell Wilson. He reminds me of him. They got that dude at the helm.
Drake May staying, right?
Huh?
He's staying, right?
Maybe so, yeah.
Doesn't matter. What I hear, if he's staying, I still got to go MP. I mean, I think, they brought in a ton of guys, even with some of the guys they left, they brought in a ton of guys. But the bigger thing to me is that it's not been about Richmond having talent. If we really analyze this and go back through the years, it's not about the one game scenario. And that's what we've seen a lot. It's can they handle the rigor of Charlotte? That's what it's always been. Last year was a prime example of one of the best teams they had. So I could say that they may be the best team, but if we alter this question, as I tend to do, are they winning state? I just don't think that they can go through this. As we're sitting here getting ready for the show, I mocked up an 18 West, 4AA. You're looking at Richmond. You're looking at 2 of the 3 between Creek, Huff, and Vance. That's your 2 or your 3 teams. You got AK, Pinecrest, West Forsyth, Myers Park, Butler. Sorry if your team's 9 or 10, maybe it switches. So what? Find me. But we know 6 of those 8 are probably going to be there. You mean to tell me if they would have to be the 1 seed and they would get all those games at home, but if they get a 2 or 3 seed, they're not beating West Forsyth or Creek or Vance. You talk about those 3 games, and if they have to go on the road for 2 of those, they have to go on the road for 1 of those. They're not getting through that gauntlet to win the state title. I'd consider the West team that's going to win the state title. They're not getting through that.
You're both wrong. You're both right. But Coach Griner, I know you got a point, and I'll let you give a follow-up in a second. But you're both right. But, before the season started, all we wanted to talk about was Power Eccles and Drake May, and rightfully so, 2 of the best athletes in the state. And even with those athletes coming back, I routinely made the statement that I thought Richmond County was the most talented team, top to bottom, skill positions, line, everything, defense especially, in the state of North Carolina. I was at those playoff games, and you're right. They were able to get through a tough game with Myers Park, but they just got throttled by Vance. Vance might be a different team. They may be better. They may be worse. We don't know. Vance is still one of those teams that's going to have to be contended with. But I just think that Richmond County, and I think it starts with the coach. You can see the demeanor of Coach Brian Till. You've seen them during the summertime and during COVID. They're out there lifting boulders and cans filled with cement, doing all the crazy stuff. They're going to be the most physical team I think we see in North Carolina, and I think they've got the mindset. Coach Griner, I know you wanted to follow up, so let's see what you got to say.
Yeah, like I said, like Grice, they're taking out. Like if they would have won the 3 games like they did last year, they would have went to the state championship. So they don't have to go through that same CMS schedule because there's only 3 playoff games to get to the state championship and not 4 this year. So I think that plays into their advantage again. That's what I'm trying to say, that they got the best leader out of anybody ever since Power Echols left. Power Echols, I thought, was the greatest leader in any football team in high school. Okay, now you go to the next best. It's the Richmond County quarterback, Caleb Hood.
Man, Power is cool. He's a great leader.
Wait, Sam. I just want to save you because 9 has not decided to go to Clemson yet. 9 is still at Weddington. You just call somebody else the best leader in high school football.
What? I thought he's gone. He's gone too. I'm talking now. He might be the best talent. He might be the best talent.
That's superlative, man. Best to succeed in college. Like,
you know he's coming after you, Sam. You know he's coming after you.
Yeah, that dude.
You know, ESPN Elias Sports Bureau stats. Best player to play west of the Mississippi, left of.
Let me say this. Let me say this about Vance. I know they're losing Power Echols, but they return a lot of everything else. Their quarterback's coming back. They got 2 linemen that transferred in, linebackers transferred in, 1 from Myers Park. They'll do a decent enough Power Echols light imitation. I don't think they can play that cover 0 blitz every time anymore. I don't think they can do that. But I think Vance is still going to be really good defensively. And they still have that chip on their shoulder just because of what you guys are talking about. They want to stay championship. None of y'all talking about Vance.
What are you talking about? We know they good. We know.
Oh, but hold on. To your point, Langston, the article's been written.
In terms of home field advantage, Myers Park will probably go undefeated, I would think. Maybe they may have a Butler game. But one of those IMAC teams is going to have a hard time going undefeated. So you're going to have to go to Rockingham 9 times out of 10.
But hold on. I mean, shout out to another paper I had. Joe Hughes, wrote a great article. Again, Vance finished 3rd in our conference last year. You look at that situation with the new playoffs, they may not make it. I mean, they're going to be on the fringe to make the playoffs, which is unfortunate considering how tough our conference is. But 2 IMAC teams are going to be in there, and they're either going to have to play. They're going to have to play Charlotte team for 2 of those 3.
The Vance coach made that same point, and he was on it. That one of the teams might not make it, so that's going to be tough. Chris, what you got?
Well, I'm just glad you made that point because with the shortened, the smaller playoff. Bracket that we're going to see, you're going to see some really good teams that don't make it, and that IMAC's the perfect example between Huff, Vance, and Mallard Creek, and I want to throw Mooresville in there too. There's going to be somebody with their feelings hurt.
Chris, you know more about the state that we do. Is there any chance that Richmond, with a short and smaller playoff, might go east, or does that make it more likely they stay west?
I do think that, and I've already kind of done some figuring with that. I do think that the chances are greater with them going east, and I think that's what we all want to see. I want to see it because outside of Rollsville and then Pinecrest and Wake Forest, the East is just it is what it is. They're not as strong as the West, and you'd like to see that colossal matchup in May in whatever the state championship site is. So that's what I'm hoping for. But until we see it, we've just got to assume that Richmond's going to play a Charlotte team.
Yeah, we got a couple comments before we get out of here. When I had Chris and Sam and Grice on the screen, it kind of goes from Sam.
Well, no, because it was me to Chris.
The evolution, yeah.
That was pretty good.
And
you
got some Jupiter mignon on paper plates. You know he rehearsed that, Coach Wilson. He rehearsed.
I promise. I wish I'd rehearsed it. It just came to me. I've been working like Kenzie.
Hey guys, did anybody think about that Vance may be small 4A? They're always close to big 4A.
If they go small 4A, Gary, it's over.
Yeah,
no, they're not close. If you look at the last year, I know Chris knows better than I, but I think you got the teams around here. I think that are closer, like Mooresville, Lake Norman. Oh, trust me, I have this on my wall in my bedroom. Like I want to stay small 4A, but no, I think Mooresville, Lake Norman are close. Chris, you know better than I.
Well, I think Vance is closer than Mooresville. I'm not sure about Lake Norman, but I'm telling you, don't discount East Forsyth. They're going for 3 in a row, and I think East Forsyth could have played in the Big 4A. I still do, and I think they can play with Vance. So just don't discount that.
If Vance goes small 4A, Superman is in the building. It's over.
So check it out.
I'm telling you. Sam, are you? Mr. Malley Creek says you're the Charles Barkley of the show.
That's funny.
I guarantee.
He is terrible.
That's good stuff.
Oh, man.
He scored. I played against.
A lot of fun, and I try to stay under an hour. We're almost there. The football game's coming. I'm gonna put Sam on the one shot and go for it, Coach.
Well, October 12th is coming around the corner. I'm just excited to be with the guys, and you can smell football in the air. Being with Chris on Friday night, watching some scrimmages, it's just fantastic. The weather's changing, like I said the other week. It just feels good when you wake up. You might take your kids to like a daycare or some situation. You feel the cold air just touching you. You're like, yes, this is real football season. Now, the one thing is when we start playing football, it's going to be in February, but at least we get to practice during this time. February, it ain't going to be like chilly, like, oh, we're in the fall weather. It's going to be brittle. It's going to be a little tough. Winter is coming, and it's going to be.
Here he goes again. Oh, Lord.
I tried to get him to stop saying that winter is coming stuff.
No, I mean, like, literally, it's coming for our season. Like,
hey, tomorrow's the first day of fall. We're one season away. And by the way, I'll be at the games Friday night. So if we want to do this again Friday night, Sam, Grice, any of y'all, let's get it going.
Oh, I'm all over this Friday.
Because Butler was the smallest 4AA team last year, so Butler might get a little small for it.
I'm saying Vance isn't closer than Butler. I promise you. I study these ADMs like it's my job because that's small 4A.
Guys, I got one thing to say about tonight's show. I don't know if it's North Carolina, UNC Chapel Hill. I'm looking at you, my alma mater. I don't know if it's the University of Missouri. I don't know if it's Texas and Austin. I don't know if it's one of the Ivy League schools. But this young lady below us, she's got a future in this business, and one of you guys need to give her a scholarship.
Yeah. I agree. I agree.
I mean, this is not easy. And we have high school kids on here all the time, and they're nervous when that light goes on. And she's so smooth and polished. I'm telling you, she's got it. So if you're watching the show, Kenzie I'm telling you, she's got it. Bring her on your campus. All right, guys, we're going to get out of here, let you guys watch the football game. I'm Langston. That's Grice. That's Chris. That's Gary. That's Kenzie. That's Sam and Dale. Love you, man. We miss you. Catch you next week on Talking Clip.
Linda Cohn